Let's talk about what happens spiritually when we have a termination. Trigger warning, obviously going to be talking about abortion, terminations, pregnancy. Now I'm going to be talking about this from personal experience. There is absolutely no judgment or condemnation here. I have had 2 abortions. I'm not going to go into detail of why or how these happen, but I'm just going to tell you what I actually experienced and what happened to me afterwards spiritually. Maybe you can relate. First of all, it's important for me to say that yes, I am a Christian. Yes, I have my own views on abortion, but this video is not to push you into making different decisions or to change your mind as such. It's actually to tell you from somebody who's had 2 of them that it's not as cut and dry as just as having a procedure, and spiritually and emotionally it does do quite a lot of damage. Now, even though both of the terminations I had healthcare reasons as to why I had to have them, I have never quite got over the grief of not knowing who that baby is. I have 3 children that are alive. I've also had 2 miscarriages. The abortions are by far, for me, they were worse than the miscarriages because I actually had to make the decision to do it. Now again, I'm going to be frank and honest and vulnerable about this. I feel like most women, when they go to have a termination, are not doing so full of joy. If I do see that, then I would say that's definitely something demonic at work. There should be no joy in terminating children, terminating babies. Personally, I don't see why that would be something to celebrate. However, after I've had 2 of those terminations, I felt a spirit of death come into me, and what I mean by that is I felt this grief that overtook me for months, if not years, particularly the second one, which was a surgical removal rather than just the tablet. I remember coming around after having it because I was under anaesthetic as well, and I was just bawling my eyes out. I felt so empty, I felt so guilty. I was sitting in the waiting room, I couldn't even speak to anybody, and I started to actually have thoughts of death myself, for myself, doing it to myself, images in my head that were not mine, and I started to have a lot of womb issues. Now you could say that was because of the procedure itself and the things that happened, but it felt a lot more spiritual to me. I did have a lot of issues conceiving my second child after that termination as well. There's a lot of spiritual oppression that comes with having terminations. The guilt, obviously. I know a lot of women know that it kind of eats them up inside. The what if, who would you have been? It's not something that is pleasant, and I don't think it's spoken about enough. The spiritual aspect, the spirit of death comes in and latches on, and it can latch onto your womb, it can latch onto your mind. If you have gone through a termination, I know how it feels. There is redemption. You can turn this around. Jesus forgives. When we repent, he forgives. And obviously there are reasons in society now why people choose to terminate. But if you are thinking of having a termination, please, please, please be aware of the spiritual and emotional aspect as well as the physical. If you want to talk, obviously I'm here as well. And this again is not coming from a place of judgment. I've had 2, and honestly to this day, I've never quite let go of who those children would have been.